Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the fourth series of the PSM Talk. And today we have your seniors, Ms. Roshini Sevamani and also Mr. Nicholas Pangjiachen. Both are your seniors currently pursuing their postgraduate degrees here. And they will be introducing you to MATLAB and, going through all the necessary steps to learn about it. So without further ado, I will like them to have the floor. So Roshini, would you start first, is it?
Yes, Miss. I will begin.
So there you go. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Miss Hazina. Okay, so good day, everyone. Thank you for being here today. So today's talk is on MATLAB. Per the type. Okay, let me share my screen first. Yeah. Okay. So per the title says MATLAB Zero to Beginner. So if you have heard about MATLAB but you don't really know what is MATLAB or how it is used and what are the basics, then you are at the right place. So hopefully by at the end of this seminar, you will have the understanding of MATLAB's features, the basic and essential commands, uses and purpose. So this seminar is going to be a mixture of both theories and hands-on demonstration. Okay, so let's begin. As for today's contents, so we would first start by assisting you in the installation of MATLAB. We will assist you on how to install MATLAB. Nicholas will help us with that. And next would be an introduction uh, to introduce MATLAB to you, like how it is used, what are the features, how it can be useful to you, and so on. And third would be about integrated development environment. So this is where you would be coding into for your MATLAB purposes. So we will also show the basic math and commands for you to demonstrate your codings in the future. And followed by next one would be the toolbars. We will teach you how to import the MATLAB scripts, how to create the scripts, how to edit the scripts. Okay, followed by fifth one would be we would teach you how to demonstrate algebra, calculations, arrays, and matrices. We would introduce the commands that are used in these three calculations, and we would demonstrate to you with a few examples for you to understand. And next one would be currently I am pursuing my PhD studies. So I am using MATLAB in my research, which is on image steganography. So I am also using MATLAB. So I will show you an example of how I demonstrate my research using MATLAB. So followed by the last one would be practice questions. So these practice questions would include the all of the sample questions that we would be teaching you today, including the matrices, the arrays, the algebras, in order for you to understand and to practice with us so that you can, learn and implement it in the future. Okay. So first, as I mentioned earlier, we would start with MATLAB installation first. So in this installation, Nicholas will help us to show you how to install MATLAB. So Nicholas, can you please take over?
Yes, thank you. So for installation, you can just go to the link, this link, or you can just type MATLAB download in your search engine. So let's share my screen.
Okay.
You guys can see my screen. So this is the website you can go. So for you to get started, since MATLAB is not a free product, so you have to click create an account first. So you can click on this sign in. For the sign in, you have to create an account with your graduate email. Do not use your normal email as they will charge your account and thus you are not allowed to use it. So first, just sign up with your graduate email and fill up the necessary information, your password and your two-factor authentication. And once you are signed in, let me. So when you're signed in, just after sign in, okay, wait. After signing in, you can click on this MATLAB next to your profile, and this will lead you to the download page. So in MATLAB, you can open MATLAB as a software, or you can open it online, which is this. But in this instance, we can just install it from this tab here. After this, you can just use the latest release, which is the 2024A, and then click on I want to install products and install it. After this will download the zip file. Just have to open it and just run the software, and then it will automatically run it for you and open it. That's the process of installation. Then you guys can install it for the later demonstration for us to do our practice questions and more to show you guys how MATLAB works. I'll pass the floor back to Roshini.
Okay, thank you, Nicholas. So you all can take a few minutes, maybe like 2 minutes, for you to install the MATLAB onto your laptop. So it'll be easier for you when we practice our questions. You can also do it with us together. So it'll be easier for you to understand. Okay, so let's take 2 minutes for you to install, and then we'll resume it. If you need the link is in the chat box. I have pasted it. Or you can also just simply type MATLAB download on your Google. Okay, so we will continue now. You can also continue to download if you have not yet done with it while listening to the lecture now. Okay, so MATLAB. So MATLAB is actually widely used in academics and also industries. You don't need to fear, because in order to learn MATLAB, you don't require a programming language knowledge. So because MATLAB has its own variety of built-in plots to visualize your data. So the functions, the methods, it's all in the MATLAB, and we have a specific MATLAB site where you can actually learn all the functions that would be useful for you in order to code. So you shouldn't, I mean, you don't need to worry about it. So anyone can learn MATLAB. And okay, so let's start. First is MATLAB is actually a short form for Matrix Laboratory. It is a fourth generation high level programming language and an interactive environment for numerical computation, visualization, and programming. So MATLAB is actually was developed by MathWorks. It allows matrix manipulations, plotting of functions and data, You can implement your algorithms, creation of user interfaces, and interfacing with programs written in other languages, including languages like C, C++, Java, and you can even analyze your data, develop algorithms, and create models and application using this laboratory. So our MATLAB, it has numerous built-in commands and mathematical functions which can help you in mathematical calculations. It also serves as basically literally a calculator. You can use it as a calculator, and it also helps you to generate plots and performs numerical methods. Okay, the next one, we are looking at the mathematical computations that can be used or performed in MATLAB. So MATLAB finds applications across various domains of computational mathematics. These are several frequently encountered mathematical computations in which MATLAB is predominantly utilized. So these 8 functions here, mostly these are the ones that can be implemented, or that's what users mostly use it to implement in MATLAB. So the first one would be numerical calculation. Second one is matrices, arrays, linear algebra, statistics, calculus or differential equations, data analysis, plotting, and graphics. So for today's lesson, we would cover the first 4 for you: numerical calculations, matrices, arrays, linear algebra. So it will all be presented to you, introduced to you with the basic commands, and a demonstration of few examples with practice questions at the last. Okay. Next one, as for the features, so MATLAB, it serves as an advanced platform for numerical computation, visualization, and software development. Additionally, it furnishes an interactive environment conducive to iterative exploration, design, and addressing challenges. MATLAB, it boasts an extensive library of mathematical functions covering areas such as linear algebra, statistics, Fourier analysis, filtering, optimization, numerical integration, and solving ordinary differential equation. And furthermore, MATLAB, it offers an inbuilt graphical capabilities for data visualization. So this is why I said you don't require additional um, programming language in order to learn MATLAB, because it's all built in into the MATLAB software. So it's built in for data visualization, along with utilities for crafting your personalized plots. So you can adjust your plots accordingly. And MATLAB's programming interface, it equips developers with tools to enhance code quality, ensure maintainability, and optimize performance. Moreover, it furnishes resources for constructing applications featuring tailored graphical interfaces. And finally, it provides functionalities facilitating the integration of MATLAB-based algorithms with external applications, as I previously mentioned, external applications like C, Java, .NET, and Microsoft Excel. Okay, let's move on to the applications. So MATLAB serves as a prevalent computational instrument in science and engineering, spanning disciplines such as physics, chemistry, mathematics, and all the branches of engineering. So its utility extends across various applications, which includes the first one, image and video processing, signal processing, computational finance, computational biology, deep learning, and machine learning. So if any of your research comprises of these, then you can definitely use MATLAB. It will be very useful for you. Okay, so today's demonstration, we would start with first how to create a new script, how to import MATLAB script, and followed by basic arithmetic or algebra, which comprises of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And then followed by arrays. We will show you what are the commands in order to implement arrays, and then followed by matrices. We will show you how to play around for matrix related calculations. And then the fifth one is image processing toolbox. So I will show you how I demonstrate my research using MATLAB. So mine would be related to image processing. So I will show you how to demonstrate it later. And the last one, we have a few practice questions. We will show you how to solve it using MATLAB. Okay, first. Okay, so I am sharing it to you. So I am not using MATLAB software because for some technical errors in my laptop. So I'm using the MATLAB web. You can also use MATLAB web. It's online. 1 minute. Yeah, it's loading. Okay. Okay, so this place here, this is how your MATLAB interface would be. So this is called the Integrated Development Environment, MATLAB IDE. So this is where we will do all our programming in MATLAB. So this one over here is command window. This serves as literally a calculator. So later we will show you how to demonstrate on using it. And besides this command window, we have a workspace on the left bottom over here. So workspace over here, it serves as a memory. For why? Because the variables that we define in our programming will be stored as a memory in the workspace over here. So any variables that you define in your programming, it will be displayed over in the workspace. You can just refer it back here. And this place over here, the top one would be where you code your programmings. So first, let's learn how to create a script. Okay, let's say you opening it fresh like this. So this one is untitled. Okay, let me close all these. So for now, it's untitled, it's fresh. So in order to create a new script, so first you can just go to your command window and simply type edit, and you can type in the file name that you are going to create. Okay, so let me just create it as seminar.m. So for MATLAB, the file extension would be .m. So when you're creating your file, just make sure that you do it with edit, your file name .m, and just enter. Okay, so it will have a pop-up like this, unable to find file MATLAB, your file name. Do you want to create it? Click on yes. And if you see the top file from untitled, it creates a seminar.m. So your file will be simply created like this. So this is where you will have to code later. So here you can code it. Okay. And okay, if let's say you are downloading any of your MATLAB source codes from, let's say, GitHub or any other web sources, and you want to use that coding into your MATLAB, you can simply click on import data and choose the files for you to import, and the file, make sure it is .m files. So once you click on that file, the coding will automatically display it on the script over here, and you can just continue to edit your script, to edit it according to your coding. Okay, so this is an introduction to the MATLAB interface. Okay, now next, as I mentioned earlier, we will look at the basic commands for you, the algebra, additional, subtraction, division, and multiplication. So now Nicholas will show you how it's demonstrated. Nicholas, can you please take over?
Yes, thank you. I will share my screen.
Okay.
So this is the MATLAB software. Just thank you for Roshini for showing the web version. So essentially, it's the same thing. You can see it has the command window and the workspace. So this is the default look if you're opening MATLAB fresh. So you can also create scripts from here, new. Just create scripts from here also. So, and also if you want to change preference of your MATLAB, you can just click on preferences, and then for colors, you can change it to dark mode, like for example, mine, but in the default, it will be in light mode. So you can follow my settings if you like. You can also change the fonts and everything here. So right now, okay, so I will show you the basic and linear algebra of how to use it in MATLAB. So essentially, MATLAB is it's just a very powerful calculator. Essentially, that's the MATLAB is. So for example, I can just do 1 plus 6. The answer will just come out as 7. So if I do like 500 plus 460, so the answer just instantly came out. As you can see on the left side here, there will be a workspace, your answer, right? This is the variable that came out. And ANS or answer is the default for everything without a variable. So it will update every time. So since just now was 7 and now it's become 960. You can also click on the variable to see it will pop up as an Excel, almost similar to an Excel to show you the different column and rows. So right now it only has one value, which is just 960. So essentially this is the addition. Subtraction is also the same thing. You can just do 6 minus 4. The answer will update to 2, and then 10 minus 5, and it will also be updated. Similarly with multiplication and division, you can also do it with, for multiplication, you can just use the star, 5 times 3, 15, 3 times 20, 60. So this is the multiplication. Division also the same thing, you can just do 60 divided by 5, 120 divided by 2. So the answer will all updates because I did not put a variable in front. So it will by default take answer uh, as the default variable for it. You can also do square root and squares. So you can also do like 2 power of 10. This also works. Same thing with square root. You can also do square root is SQRT, bracket is to 1024. And then you get back 32. Square root of 32. The square root of 1024 is 32, etc. And you can do more with this. So this is just the basic on linear algebra. You can do a lot of things, a lot of mathematical equation and more on MATLAB. So for you to clear, since my command window now is very cluttered, a lot of data that I do not need, you can just type CLC, which is just to clear the command window, such as this. Okay, it's cleared now. If you, for example, has a lot of variable in your workspace, you can also type clear vars, and this will clear everything in your workspace. So everything will be clean and everything. Or also you can do, for example, do a basic 5 plus 10. You can also do CLC and comma, clear vars, and this line will clear everything at once. So you don't have to type multiple times. And then that is the basic on how to do addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, square roots, powers in MATLAB. Next, we can move on is the array. Array is a bit more special compared to normal programming languages such as C++ and Java. So you don't have to type the brackets and everything. So you can just type, for example, A equals to 1 colon 10, and this will create me an array from 1 to 10. So this is an array right now. Okay, as you can see, if you click on this, this is an array with all the values of 1 to 10. You can also similarly, you can also do like 2 to 20 is also possible. It will take you all the value from 2 to 20. So, or if you want an array of specific numbers, you can also do it with brackets, straight brackets, 4, 6, 20, 10, negative 30. So as you can see, some of them are missing some comma spaces. This will still run because it will take the space as a comma. So for example, right now, so comma and doesn't have space are the same thing, but generally just good practices, just put a comma so you not lose track on if it's a value or is it a decimal space and everything. So for example, if you want to call a specific indices, a specific value, like for example, right now I want to call a 6, you can just type the array, the variable name, bracket, and 2. This will create a 6. The reason why it's 2 instead of 1 like normal array, because, for example, if I type A0, an error will occur because every indices must be positive. In MATLAB, array are essentially just one row by many columns. It's just a matrix of one row with many columns. So that's why indices of 0 doesn't exist, because in matrices there is no 0 column, 0 row first column. So there's no such thing. So essentially the first value always starts with 1. Then, okay. Matrices, oh, there's a lot of things. Matrices are essentially almost the same as creating an array. So for example, I can just use a second variable, b, equals to, for example, let me just create a new script so it's much easier for us to see. New script. Okay. So in this new script, we can just type b equals to, we use the same straight brackets, put a 1, 2, 3, 4, and to create a matrix, you use a semicolon. Then you can use a 4 negative, use 3 by 2, 4 negative 10 and 20. So if I click enter on this, oh wait. So since this is a script, you cannot just click enter to run the code, as if I click enter, it will go to the next line. So you can just use control enter, and then it will run the script for you. As you can see, it right now it's has a lot of value, right? So if, for example, if I call B, this is the matrix right now. It's a 2 by 3 matrix. So essentially, this is now a matrix. So array and matrix is almost similar in MATLAB. So this is the matrix. So it can do a lot of things in matrix. For example, do basic. If I want to do like B times B, this. So I just call this. Since there's an error, right? So because matrix, you cannot do a multiplication of 2 by 3 columns with another 2 by 3 column. So for that, we can just transpose the first one, which by using the one bracket dot to change it to a transpose. This one essentially transpose the matrix to become a 3 by 2. So right now we can do a calculation. So we can get a new one. Oh, then just call C. There you go. And you can see C value is called created. This is the new matrix of multiplication of matrix with matrix. So you can also call a specific value in the matrix by using, for example, we can use C. Okay, so type C. Let's do first row, second column. This one, see, it will call a value of negative 10, which is this one, first row, second column. And you call, so if, for example, if I want the whole of first row, you can just do first row like this, and it will create C first one. Oh, is C first row and then semicolon. It's going to be seconds like this. Oh, I forgot how to do this also. Okay. Yeah, so this is the, I think it's like this. Yeah, there you go. It's not a semicolon, it's a colon. So you can call the whole first row. Similarly, with also, if you want to call the whole column instead of rows, you can just do like this, this is one just to call the whole column. But I just call the whole column like this. So it's negative 14 and negative 10. So 14 and negative 10. So this is a way to call the row or column or a specific value. So in matrix, in MATLAB, you can also, for example, instead of just numbers, you can also have strings and characters. So for example, if I want the just example of right equals to, if you use a one what's the word, the bracket thing. I want to put like a F. Then right is equal to F right now. And then if I want to do, okay, let's do second one, second. Supposed to, if I use a 2 instead of a 3, like this. So it will show us 3 and F. But for you to see the type of variable that it is, you can just type whos. And this one will show you the variable exists in the memory and their class. So doubles are usually for numbers with decimals and everything. And string, since we use the two things instead of one, it will be a string. And if you use it one, it will be a character or char. So this is how we get, but this is the most widely used in MATLAB, these 3 types of variable types. Okay, so let's do so let's clear everything here first. So that's the basic on the array and matrices. So we can just clear everything. And also, okay. Another cool thing about array is, for example, if I want to, since this creates an array, okay, this creates an array, we can also use it instead of, for example, I want it to, instead of being 1 to 10, you can also use, let's do a new variable. Let's do clear bars, okay. So instead of 1 to 10, we can use 1 to 10. This, but instead of I want it to be 1 to 10, you can also use another additional thing in the center, which you add a number and then a new column. This way, you will create a new array with it being increment of 2. So you start from 1 and it becomes 3 because addition of 2 is then 3 until it reaches 10, or if it's above 10, for example 9, in this case 9. 9 plus 2 is 11, which is out of 10, the value of the size that I want it to be. So it will only stop at 9. Similarly, you can also do it with 3, 4, and everything. Let's try this. So it can just be 1, 5, 9 next. That's an addition of 4. So this is another way to create matrix array for you to basically just addition and everything. So another way of doing array is also can be done with, let's do clear vars again. Another way of doing array also can be used as a linspace. You can use linspace of, I think it's 1 to 100. I think it's like this. Oh, it's not okay, it's a comma. And sometimes I forget the thing. So if you do linspace, you will create okay, so for example, you can click on this and see. You create an evenly spaced array of 100 values. So you can see it's until 100, stop at 100. So it will create an evenly spaced array from the value you start with to the end. So for example, if I do like a 0, for example, I just call it. So you can just look at A. As you can see, it starts with, then it goes with 1.000101 because all of these are evenly spaced to 100. You can also add in, because by default, it's 100 value evenly spaced between each other. You can also change the default to something else. For example, if I want it to be 101, also possible. Let's try run it. Now it's all evenly spaced from 0 to 100 and evenly spaced of 1. So because I changed the parameter, instead of 100 default values, now they're spread out between 101 values. So far, you guys understand? I cannot open. I cannot see the chat.
Nicholas,
Yes.
can we make the screen bigger? I mean, at least the font bigger.
Yeah, we can.
Would it be possible?
Yeah, it's possible. Let me see. Some 14. Oh, this is a bit too big. Let's go. That should be.
Okay.
Is this better now? Okay.
Yes, it is much better. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. No problem. So, da, da, da. Okay. So, since I've created an array of 100, 0 to 100, you can also, if you, for example, has a very long long array, you are too tired to scroll to the end to see the end value of it. You can just type. You can just type, for example, n. Okay, I can not type there. You can just type here n. Put an a. Is it? Oh, it's my bad. It's the other way around. So it's a n like this. And you can get the n value of the array. So if you look at it, the n value, this is a bit small. You can see the n value is 100. So if, for example, you also can do it in the way of n minus 10. And you get 90, which is the 90th value. So you can go back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 10 value, so this will be the end of it. They'll take this value, and that's why you get 90 here. Okay, so that is the basis of array, or no, different ways to create array. Okay, we just did all this. And then next we can move on to matrices. Matrices has a lot of things. As you can see just now, you can create it with the straight brackets with, for example, 1, 2, 3. Then you can do 3, 4, 5. This one will create the new array. Let's do a different variable. Okay. So this will create an array of 2 by 3. You can also create array. For example, you want an array made of all of ones. So it's also possible, because if you want to type 1 by 1 on all of this is a bit tedious. So you can just do, for example, c equals to 1s, 3. This way it will create a matrix full of ones. So you just call it here. It create a row and a 3 by 3 matrix of full of ones. Then you can also change it to 3 by 2. So right now you can create a 3 by 2 matrix full of ones. So it's possible if you want to create full of ones. Same thing with also zeros. You can also do zeros by 3 like this. And you can call a D. So it will be a matrix full of zeros. So another example you can do this, or another function you can do, which is a built-in function. CDE equals to, you can do I. I essentially is a built-in function for you to create a diagonal of ones, and a diagonal of ones surrounded by, and the other row and columns are filled with 0. So for example, if I want to do 4, which is a 4 by 4 matrix, you can do an E. You create a 4 by 4 matrix and the diagonal of 1. You can also, in this way, you can also do, for example, 4 by 5 matrix with I. So if I call it, it will be E. It will be a 4 by 5 with the diagonal of 1. Since it cannot be a true diagonal because it's a 4 by 5 column, so it will only stop here unless you do it 5 by 5. So you end it for 1. So that's the basis of matrices. I hope you guys can understand. If any questions, then just ask. Open your mic and ask, because I cannot look at the chat. Okay, so that's all for the basics from linear algebra to matrix and arrays. Then I'll pass the floor back to Roshini.
Okay, thank you, Nicholas. So guys, so from what Nicholas showed you all, So it was a how to use MATLAB as a calculator, where he showed the addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Instead of using your own calculator, you can use MATLAB to display these answers, and along with how to square the numerics and how to show the square roots. And he also showed you guys how to create arrays and matrices. So it would be overwhelming, as the sum of the variables and the codes are new to you, but as you practice, you will get used to it. And the commands, okay, as we shall recall what Nicholas showed you, I will show you the basic commands that he just showed you guys. Okay, so these are the commands and operators that you would be using in your MATLAB often. So the first one, it's the widely used operators as usual. Additional, you use your plus sign. Subtraction, you use your minus. Multiplication, you use your star. And for division, you use a slash. And usually for squares, we use the exponential 2 uh, symbol, but instead in MATLAB, we use this exponential square symbol. And as for square root, you just type SQRT, and in bracket you should just enter your number in which you want to square root it. And as for percent, okay, this percentage symbol, you can use it as a command. Let's say you are presenting your coding to your lecturers or in your presentation, and you want to briefly explain what it is. Instead of using a verbal explanation, you can just code it at the side of your code with the percentage symbol, what that row of code signifies. And the next one would be equal. So it signifies, it gives out the results. And next one, semicolon. Just now Nicholas showed the multiple uses of semicolons. It can be used in to demonstrate your script in MATLAB. And next one would be in the decimal point, and it can also use to solve equation in matrices and array. And this inverted upward colon is used for to define your strings, and the bottom one, single quote, would be used for to define your characters. And on the right, if you see, some of these commands just now Nicholas showed you. First one would be ans. It is to display your answers. And next one would be INF, infinity, it means. And then followed by NAN. So this NAN is a non-number character. So this, sometimes you might get an error defining that this is NAN. That means you should change your character to a different one. And next one would be CLC, is to clear your command window. And the last one would be clear vars, like what Nicholas showed you just now. It is to clear the memory, clear everything from your workspace. Okay, so now I will show you how I use MATLAB in my research. Okay, so before you start on everything, so just remember to clear your command window, or not it will be messy. Okay, so CLC. And if you have anything on your workspace, then make sure you do clear vars. Here I don't have anything, so but just to tell you, always remember to clear it. Okay, so first, this is the same script that I created just now when I showed you guys. So first, let me, okay, so my research is about image steganography. So it includes image processing. So in order to show you that, first let me import some few pictures. Example. Okay. So in order to import the pictures, you just drag from your folder and drop it on the side. Okay, so see over here on the left, the picture can be imported. Okay, let's take another one. All right. Okay, so today I'm going to demonstrate you using this baboon colored.png. and male grayscale.jpg. So these are the two example images that I'm going to show you on how I code my commands. Okay, so first one, let me show you how to read. Okay, so for the first, to begin with, we have imported the images. So how are we going to link our code to these images? First, we have to read the image. So all these commands are going to be implemented on the command window. First, the code would be I am read, and you can type in the name of your file, your image file, with the extension. So here it's already giving me so it will give you all the pictures that are imported. So you can just choose from it and close the bracket. Okay, if you do it like this without a semicolon at the side. Okay, so what are all these numbers? It's actually the pixel of the images that we imported. This is because I wrote a command without the semicolon at the side. So in case you don't want this to be messy, you want it to be neat, you don't want all the pixel values to display on your command window, you can simply put the same I am read your image file with extension, should not forget your extension, and with a semicolon at the side. So now, okay, if you see in my workspace, there is a uns popped out. This is actually the image has already been linked, but it is just not displaying here because you used semicolon. So the semicolon is used to also repress your variables into the memory tree. It won't be displayed to you, but it will still exist in the memory. Okay, so I am read. First, we have already read the image. Next one. Okay, let me define this image as A per se. A, I am read. Again, choose your file name and do not forget the semicolon. Okay, now A. So we have defined our baboon image as A because every time you don't need to type the word baboon again and again. So you could simply just define it as A or any other alphabets that you like. Okay, so I have chosen A. So A has already linked to the image baboon. And next one, we are going to display the image. So that code would be I am show and put in the variable that you defined. So if you click on enter, okay, over here. So it will display the figure 1. So this is my baboon image, or in this case, we have defined it as A. So this is my image A. Okay. So this is an image. This is a colored image. Later I will show you with grayscale image as well. Okay. So we have already displayed the image. Now, in order to know what are the properties of the image, first we can, okay, next one we can do is create an empty image. You can also create an empty image. Okay, if you click on figure with a bracket, okay, so this will display an empty image. So you can play around with these commands, figure, empty image, empty bracket, where you can include any other images. You can import any other images into this empty image. Okay, let's say for this one, I will show you an example. Okay. So we have already read one image. Let's read another image. So if you're familiar with it by now already, how we are going to do is I am read. And the next image I imported just now was male underscore grayscale.jpg. So you can just put your double quote, male underscore. Okay, so it will display you at the bottom, so you can just simply choose it and close the bracket, and do not forget your semicolon. Enter. Okay, so now we are going to assign a variable like how we did just now for the baboon image. Now we are going to assign it using the variable, let's say b. So b equals to I am read. Choose your image file, male underscore grayscale dot the extension, and do not forget your semicolon. Okay. So if you see on my workspace, now the B has already created, which means this B stores the image male grayscale.jpg. Okay, so you want to know what image is it? You want it to be displayed? Just simply type I am show and the alphabet that you assigned for the image. I am show B. When you enter, okay, so the figure 2 changed into the figure B. So now this is our second image. The second image has already entered into the empty figure just now. All right. Okay, so next one. Let's see how to combine both images into one image, okay, in just one single page. So that would be, you can use the code subplot, and you can choose 221. So this 221 is simply the size of the image you want it to be displayed, like how small you want. You can change the number however you want. So just use the command is what's essential, subplot bracket 221, and do not forget to close the bracket with a semicolon, and then you can type I am show a. Okay, it takes time to load a bit. Okay, if you see here, image A, the size has been reduced. Just now the size was over the full page. Now the size has been reduced to one page, like a portion of the page, it has reduced. So you can play around with the size. So this subplot here, 221, you can use it to change however you want. If you code it as 241, then the width could be slightly bigger, and it's up to you. You can change it however you want. Okay, next one. Let's do the same one for, okay, so now we are trying to practice with image B. Let's change the size. Subplot, I'll show you a different one. 2, let's say 4. Okay, 2, 4. Do not forget your semicolon. And I am show B, close your semicolon. Okay, if you see here, the size has been reduced and both images are displayed on the same page because you just implemented two back to back. So I am show A and I am show B, and you have also defined the sizes of both. So the first image is displayed in size 221, and the next one would be, the bottom one is the second image B with the size of 224. Alright, so these are the commands to display both images on the single page. Okay, now we are going to see how to know the size of an image. Okay, let's say you want to know the size of image A. Simply type size A and the variable for the image, size A. Okay, this one, it displays 512, 512, and 3. So what this shows actually is the number of pixels and the number of rows and columns of the image. Okay, so this one is like 512 pixel image, so that's why it's showing 512 and 512. Okay, next one. if let's say you want to know what is the intensity of the value of a particular pixel in this image, you can choose a, let's say I want to know what is the intensity value of pixel at pixel of position 100 and 200. So okay, so now it shows 46. That means the 100th row and 200th column would be the pixel, the intensity value is 46. So that's what this means. Okay. The next one, say you want to do the same for size B. You want to know the size of B. Okay, 1024. So this is the pixel of image B. So the previous one was 512 pixel, and this one is 1024 pixel. So this is better than the previous image. And let's say you want to know the same intensity of the same row. Okay, 37. So this, the intensity of the pixel value in the position of 100 and 200 is 37. So that's what it means. Okay. All right. So now let's see, you want to know the properties of an image. Let's say you want to know what is the property, what is the color of the image. You can simply type the code IMF info. So if you see the bottom here just now, so information about graphics file. So that's what this will display, info, and simply type the image that you want. So you can choose, okay, I'm choosing this IMF info and just enter. Okay, so this one will display, see if you see here, this is the file name of the image and the file size. The format is PNG extension. The width is 512, and color type is true color. So if in case you want to do it for B, then it'd be different. So true color. Okay, let's check for image B here. IMF info and choose male grayscale. Okay. All right. So if you see, this one is quite different. It's same. I mean, the file name is what the file is named as, and this one the format is JPG. The previous one was PNG, so you can know the format from here. And this one is pixel 1024, and the color type here is grayscale because this is a grayscale image. The previously one was a colored image, so that's why it displayed true color. In this case, that is grayscale image, so like that. And so in this one, I also use it to convert the color of the image. So let's say now we have a true color image and a grayscale image. Let's say we want to change the colored image. Okay, let's say we want to change this baboon colored image into a grayscale image. So how we do that, I will show you. You don't need to, use your converter in online. So you can just simply type RGB. RGB stands for red, green, blue. Okay, equals to I am rich, and choose your image, semicolon. Okay. All right. So now if you see in the workspace, the image has been red. So now we are changing the RGB. Just now we defined the image as A. So now we are changing it to RGB. So now we have a new memory RGB. Okay. So let's show RGB. Okay. Okay, if you see here, okay, so this is our image, the colored image. Okay, let's close this. And now we are defining the grayscale image as I. So the new image that we want, it will be displayed as I. So I equals to IM2 gray. What is IM2 gray? Is image to grayscale. So IM2 gray, that is the command. And you type RGB semicolon. Okay. And now see, if you see here, workspace I has been created. Okay, so now we are showing I am show. We want to display the grayscale image. I am show I. Okay, if you see here, the baboon image has turned into a grayscale one. So this is how you convert from colored into grayscale. You can use MATLAB for that. Okay, so these are simple examples, and these are the commands that I use in my research. Because I deal with multiple images, like hundreds of images, so this is easier for me. So what I do is I just import all of the images into my script over here, and I read them, I display them, I check the sizing, I convert them into grayscale, because my research is on a comparative site where I compare the properties of colored images and grayscale images. So this is very useful for me. So if any of you are also dealing with image processing or image steganography or any image related research, you can use MATLAB. Okay, so next one, just to refresh from what Nicholas taught you just now. So we have a few practice questions for you to try. So Nicholas is going to show it to you how it is implemented in your MATLAB. Okay, so Nicholas, can you please take over?
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so just now from since Roshini explains there's a lot of built-in functions and everything in MATLAB, right? So it's a bit difficult for you to remember all of this. So another easy way to like find out the documentation and all the built-in functions exist in MATLAB, you can click on this FX icon in the command window. You open up this, for example, this little tab. So for example, if you want to find out more about like matrix and arrays, right? For example, if I want to type array, it will show me how the functions that exist in for you to make an array and everything about array. So if, for example, if I look at this, I can just look at this array fun, which applies so like this. This one will show you all the built-in functions on how to use this and everything. But if this is too small for you to read, you can just type help. Then you can type let's type linspace. Let's try linspace. So it will show you all the documentation needed on how to use the function linspace. So you can just read it from here, from the command window. If this, or you can use doc linspace. Like this, and this will open up documentation on how to use linspace and everything. So like this, descriptions and the syntax and everything. So you don't have to remember everything on yourself, and you can just see on here. So all this is the documentation for it. And since this is for PSM seminar talk, MATLAB, since MATLAB, the basic MATLAB on default does not really have much or is catered to specific part of your research or your work or your PSM work. So you can also use things more specific. For example, if you click on the apps, there are things called the toolbox that exist in MATLAB. For example, you just click on apps and just get more apps. And this will open up the Explorer, a new tab. So if you use the UTM graduate email, all of these are included in your MATLAB already. So for example, if you need more on simulations, MATLAB also has that. So you can use simulation and model-based design such as the Simulink. But this has another more functions and everything that you may need lah. So all of this essentially can be useful to you in your work on your PSM. So there's a lot of built-in things specific catered to specific sections or parts or areas in research and your work. So there's a lot of things you can see. So there's a code generations, compiler, and a lot of things that's covered that's already included in your MATLAB account. Just have to click on that and just install it. So and then you can use it already. Similarly to what Roshini did just now, image processing. I think she used the image processing toolbox to help to do all of the image things. So it's actually there's a lot of things here. You can just see there's more than 100 of them that you can use. So but then only use what you're needed lah. So you don't have to remember so many things. And okay, so right now we can just move on to the practice questions. So the practice question, the first one is this function, right? So we have this algebra, which is the y equals to negative x minus 3 power of 2 plus 10. So the first question is, what's the maximum value of y in the range of 0 to 5? So we can define it. So we just use this one first. So we have 0, x to 5. So we have to do it again. So since this is a value between 0 and 5, we can just use an array for this. So for example, we can just use x equals to 1 to 4. So this will create me an array from 1 to 4. I don't use 0 or 5 because it's between 1 and 5, not equal, or not lesser or equal to, or greater or equal to 5 and 0. So if I click enter on this, it create me an array of 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next one is we have to add in the equation here. So first we will start with the x minus 3. So this is the easier one. So because we can use x minus 3, like this. If I click, okay, so it will create me an array also. So as you can see, y here is also an array because x is an array. So it will take x is an array. So all of value of y will also be an array. So next we have to add the exponent, the power of 2. So we have to do like this. Power of 2. So this is usually how normally it's done. But if I click on Control Enter, there will be an error. Because since this is an array, you cannot square root an array, but you can only square root the value in an array. So you have to use a dot or the element wise, the decimal point, as to tell MATLAB that you want to square every number in that array and not the array itself. So for example, if I run it like this, it will work again. It will show me the value of y instead of an error. So because I am I am squaring all the numbers of variables in y instead of just the array y. So next we can add on is the negative and also the 10. So if you want to add a 10 here, 10. A good practice is essentially just add a bracket outside of this. So you can just put a negative here. So it knows that this is inside the negative, the value itself. So if you just click on Control Enter, the value of y will be updated as this will be the new array. So for example, if you want to find out what is the maximum value of y on the range, from this we can see that the maximum value is 10. But in case you have a very large array and you want to find out the maximum number, you can just type slash max and just show it here. Max y. It will show me the 10. So this one, in case, so it will show me the maximum value of y, which is 10. The biggest number in the array of x of y is 10. But if you want to know which indices is in, so you can just type in, for example, I want to know where is the value 10 located in the array. So I can just, let me just comment this. So for example, I can just use, okay, max value. Okay, so I have to use a bracket. I equals to max y. Method, is it? So this one will create me a new array. So if you type in, so I can type in. So you can see there's a new variable here, which is 3, because so it tells us, so if you see I is 3. So we can see that the largest value of y, the array of y, is in the number 3 slot, which is number 3 in this, which is 1, 2, 3, which is this one, 10. So you want to know the value of x, which value of x created the largest value of y. So you can just do also just to x I like this, and then you get 3. So you can get that the array of in the x value 3 created the largest value of y. So that answered the first question. And then the second question, what's the minimum of y? Same thing. You can just do min val I equals to, since max is to get the maximum value, the next one is with min of y. So like this, if I click on Control Enter, you create me a new one, I, it will change the value of I. So if you do I, so I and y, so it will be the first index, which is 6, the smallest value inside the array of y. Similarly, you can also do like this. So 1 created the smallest value of for y. So this for the second one, for the second question. Okay, what is the maximum? Okay, so this one answer. Oh yeah, this one answered already. What's the maximum value of x when maximum y value occur? So same thing with this one. So it's max y. So wait, you can just comment this one first, so you can just see it again. DLC. Okay. Control Enter. Okay, so you can see that I is 3. So I is 3. So we know that the maximum value of y, the value is 3. This one created the largest value. So the next one is what is y when x value is 20.7. So in this, since we have an array right now, we can change it to, for example, we can just do x equals to 20.7. This is a way to do it, but this is a bit tedious if you have a lot of specific value of x. So instead, we can just do it. We can just leave it be. We can just comment this first. We can change y into a function. So instead of calling it one time only, we can call it multiple times. So for you to call a function, I think it's this. You can do a bracket, add sign on x. So you can just comment this also. We don't need this anymore. So this will create a function of x. So to end, oh wait, see, I also forgot what's the function. So we can just go back to see MATLAB functions. Also, so sometimes you also forget how to do this. The subcall function. Oh, it's not this one. Is it like parentheses? Otherwise, mismatched. So I can just click on this one function. Oh wait. Function handle. MATLAB syntax. Sometimes forgot on this one. Self-call function. No, not this one. Yeah. So you also can change it. I think it's like this. I forgot how to call it earlier already. I think it's like, okay, it's like this. It's at sign. It's at sign on the value of x like this. Okay, there you go. So if you call it like this, y instead of y becoming an array, it becomes a function. So if I want to call, so for example, you can see right now, y instead of an array is a function handle. Function handle is basically can be a self-called function. So for example, right now we can also just call it so I can just call it a y 20.7. So this is the way to call it. So for example, if I want to call it right now, so the value will be negative 303. So for example, you have a lot of value of x, right? So you can just do it like you can do 40 like this and a lot of things. So this is a way to change the variable itself, the algebra becoming a function that you can use more and more. So you can just type y equals to the value of x, and this will be the value. So far, this is the okay. So that's how you okay. So the next second practice question is on matrix. So we have to create. So first one is to create the following matrix, which is G 10, 40, 20. So first, okay, we start with this. So just clear everything first. And PLC clear vars. So we have to create this matrix first. So we do a G. Oh wait, not here. So we just do G equals to array. Just put like this. Okay, so 20, 40, 10, 40, 20. Next is 6, 20, and 1. 6, 20, and 1. Last is 3, 2, 0. 3, 2, and 0. So if I enter this, okay, so it'll create me a matrix on this one. So the next one is to find the transpose of G. To find the transpose of G, so let's do trans equals to G one thing. Forgot what's the name of this. Yeah, but one of this, one only. So this is to get a transpose. So if you do like this is a transpose. So now it's transposed already. So the rows become the column becomes the rows. So yeah, this is how it becomes. So we answer the second question. Second is display the element G23 of the transpose of G. So since we already put transpose of G equals a variable, so we can just call it like this. So we can just trans row 2 third column. So we can just call this, and the answer is 2. So it's row 2 third column, which is 2 right here. Okay, that is for to display the element. The next is print the second row of transpose of G. So to print, so you just trans. Since we want a row, so we put a row of second row. Put 2, the colon, and then you just enter. And this will print out the whole row, which is 40, 20, and 10, second row. And okay, so the next question is the third column. So same thing, trans, colon, and third column, like this. Okay, so this one will print out. Let me just do like this so we don't have to see it. So this will print out the third column only, which is this one, 3, 2, and 0. So this is how to print out the columns. So the next is to find the determinant. So you can also do it the harder way, which is to pull out a calculator and calculate it one by one. Or you can just use, for example, I want to find determinant. I can just determinant. So here it shows you a matrix determinant, which is use DET. So we can just call it with, so since it wants the determinant of G, so we can just type det G, and this will provide me with the answer. Let me just, okay. G. So this G is this. So find the determinant, which is negative 860. So this is how you can use, if you do not know the functions or whatever you want to do, you can just search up with the fx, or you can just open up the MATLAB documents, and you can just search from there, and you can just see all the documentation done on the built-in functions and everything, because this is essentially just a calculator, and you can just find everything of matrix and everything, and you can get the value here, which is the negative 860. So this is the determinant, and I hope you guys can keep up. If there's any questions, you can just open your mic and ask. I'll pass it back to Roshini.
Okay, thank you, Nicholas. So, guys, Nicholas just demonstrated what he taught you all today, which is comprises of the algebra, the arrays, and the matrix. So he also introduced you to the commands on how to demonstrate these calculations using MATLAB command window and the MATLAB script. And I have showed you like how to demonstrate the my research using the image processing toolbox. So in case you are also, your research relies on image processing or image signaling or anything, you can also use the same way image processing toolbox. But there are also so many other toolboxes in MATLAB. So I only showed you one example of, because that's what my research focuses. That's my expertise. So if your research is on about, say for example, signal processing, then you can use a different toolbox, signal processing toolbox. So how are you going to choose the right toolbox for you? So you should know what your research requires first, because each toolbox, it depends on your specific needs and the task that you want to accomplish. Let's say you want to convert the image formatting or image colors, then you can use the same way as I showed you just now. But in case your research is on a different topic, on a different whole area, so you should first identify your requirements, your research requirements, determine what you want to accomplish with MATLAB. So in case you're, like I mentioned previously, if you're working on signal processing or image processing or optimization or statistics, if you're working with machine learning or deep learning, so they all have a separate toolbox. So that's why you have to know what you want to accomplish with MATLAB first. So these are some of the purposes, some of the uses that you can use MATLAB in your academics or in your research. So besides this, MATLAB also offers, like I mentioned, many other applications. So in order for you to learn all the application, you can visit the MathWorks website. They provide documentations to explore each toolbox. And if your expertise is on image processing, then you might not know what other toolboxes are used for, or what are the functions. So you can only focus on what your research work or what your academics requires. So you have to see if that a specific toolbox is compatible with your research. So that's why it's very important to choose the right toolbox and make sure your MATLAB version is compatible with the toolbox that you choose. But since you are using UTM's graduate email, so it provides a free account for us to use the toolbox. But in case you're using your personal Gmail account or anything, then you can't. You might need to pay a certain amount to access the toolbox. So that's why make sure to use your Gmail account to sign up into your MATLAB account, and when you need to use the toolbox. Okay, so I hope today's lesson or today's sharing would be somewhat useful for you in your academics or in your research. So that's all from us. Thank you so much. If any questions, you can still drop the message or questions in the chat box. Or if that's all, then thank you.
Well, thank you, Roshini and Nicholas. So for the attendees, if you have any questions, you can ask directly. I will be posting this video. I'm recording it. I'll be posting it after, giving me a few days. so you can slowly follow it if you are, having some problems following the lessons itself. So again, do you have any questions? I think there would be no questions right now because they are just like trying to follow. But if you do have any questions, I think either Roshni or Nicholas will be happy to help you later on. I mean, they are your seniors anyways. So there you go. And to Roshni and Nicholas, thank you very much for the sharing session. Perhaps in the future, we can share something else that you have done in your research with the students as well. And good luck in your studies, in your master's and your PhD. And to everyone, thank you for coming. And to Nicholas and Roshni, thank you for sharing your knowledge today.
Thank you, Miss, and all the best for your PSM, everyone.
Thank you, Miss. Yeah, same thing. Good luck on your PSM papers.
Right. So we'll be stopping here and have a good day, everyone. Goodbye.